Every time. Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you see me now? Yes. Excellent. So you can hear me, you can see me, you can hear me. Hola. Awesome stuff, guys. Thank you for joining me. We have got Neel that will be joining us very soon as well. And, you know, as usual, be kind. I'm finding my way around the live stream software every time because it's just too complicated. Give me a DAW any day of the week. Okay. Cool. Hope you are all well. Hope you have had a fantastic week and weekend. And where's my co-coach? Let me just send him a little nudge just to make sure. Bear with me, guys. We've got so many good tunes to go through today. Copy invitation. There we go. Hopefully that works. Yes, boys and girls. Here we are in the original EDM Tip Studio, back in Blighty. That's quality, mate. That was commissioned by Banksy. That may or may not be actual fact. We do not know, and I suspect we never will. Yes, we have Neel in the house.
Hello. Sorry about that. My internet cut out just at the right moment. So
that's live streaming for you, man. That's just that's sod's law. So we should, let me see. I don't know if we're both going live on the actual stream. I suppose we should be. Yeah, switching over to you now. There's just a bit of delay. Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah, so Neel and I have been listening to the hundreds of amazing entries, basically, to the competition. It's our first ever one. So thank you all so much, genuinely, for taking the time, making the effort. And regardless of whether you win or not today, it doesn't matter. You know, the fact that you actually put your music out there to be judged is a step in the right direction. So even if it was your first track you've ever finished, good on you, you know, good effort.
Yeah, completely second that. I remember, you know, one of the toughest things about these sorts of things was just listening through the entire list of submissions. All I wanted to do was, you know, name like every other submission a winner and listen to every single one that we could get through on the live stream. But it is, you know, the unfortunate reality is at the end of the day, we do have to pick a winner. And I will say this, you guys all absolutely crushed it. I was seriously impressed.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, both of us, we know what it's like to be on the other side as well, you know, to be the one submitting that competition entry and just, you know, being awake all night, just really hoping, really wishing. Yeah, it's scary, but you did it and you made the entries, and we've got some incredible tracks to get through today.
Yeah, exactly that.
Sweet. And we've got some awesome prizes as well. I'm just going to give a shout out to the people who very kindly have donated these prizes. We got a €500 voucher from Thoman, which is sweet. We got Sonarworks SoundID Reference. We got some AI studio headphones. We got Loop Cloud subscription. We got Melodyne 5 Studio. Like, reading back through this, I wish I had entered into the competition now. It's like, I want all this stuff. Right. And we got Captain plugins, we got Sugar Bytes bundle, Fab Filter Volcano 3, Sonox Inflator, Rocket Power Thickify. We got the EDM Tips Creative Toolkit and some merch. And we've got a place in the Music Production Accelerator as well to work with me and Neel on a one-on-one basis and just get you absolutely to that pro level, introduced into the industry. So we got loads of sweet prizes.
Absolutely do. Yeah, I'm excited to start handing some of those out.
So what should we do, man? Should we kind of listen to the, I don't know, top 20 or something?
I think so. Yeah, let's show everyone what all made it in.
Okay, so I might just kind of open them up in different tabs and then queue them up. I guess that's the easiest thing to do.
Perfect.
Go from the top down. So should we just kind of alternate then and then give a little bit of feedback on each?
Absolutely. Yeah. And then when you say alternate, do you want me to queue some up as well? Or are we just going to share them all via your screen and just kind of work our way down?
I don't know what's going to be easiest.
My guess would be it's going to flow the smoothest if you just open them up on your screen. And then, you can play them and we can just kind of chime in with our feedback and such.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So I'm going to open up the first one. Here we go. I'm going to open this up in a different browser actually, so it's not going to screw up the sound on the stream. And then I can just share the browser.
Yeah, not a bad call at all.
Okay, cool. I'm going to save this one actually. I'm going to save that one. Okay, so the first one that we are going to listen to, and again, if we don't listen to yours today, guys, it's yeah, do not take it personally, please. We've simply got too many to listen through. We have listened to everyone. There were a few broken links that we couldn't listen to, which is a real shame. But if you want to fix those links, you know, I sent out an email to everyone earlier, then we will listen to them, even if it's not on the live stream. We will listen to every single entry, and it's the least we can do for the effort that you've gone to. So I'm going to share my screen now and we'll get cracking. So share screen, share sound, a bit like what we do on the accelerator calls, actually. Let's do it. So you should be able to see, my SoundCloud. Is that all coming through for you, Neil?
It's coming through via Zoom for me. I know we're on just like a tiny bit of delay from the live stream, so I'm trying to keep an eye on the live stream itself as well.
Nice one.
Make sure it makes its way over there.
Yeah, I shall have a peek too. So, okay, without further ado, this is the first entry. We're not going to listen to all of the entirety of each track either. We will kind of start it off, then we'll skip forwards a bit, then we'll, you know, to like the break, and we'll skip forward to the drop as well, just to get through as many as we can. So let's do it. I've just realized it might be better if you share them because you've already got your voiceover mic set up, haven't you?
That is unfortunately only through this Streamlab. So it won't.
Gotcha. Okay.
That being said, Zoom is actually doing a really good job of that, so I can hear you loud and clear.
Sweet. I like this. Nice crackles. That's nice. Kind of reminds me of Burial. Like original sounding. Let's hear the drop. Yeah, nice. I'm really liking the breakbeat feel. Yeah, that's really nice. I think that's probably going to be quite different from a lot of the entries. I'm expecting a lot of 4 to the floor. Someone asked if we're doing this on the fly. Yeah, it's live, man. That's how it works. But we have listened to them beforehand and we've kind of written down our notes. For me, and this is actually a critique or feedback for several of the entries, just getting a little bit more shine out of that mix. Like, this is a great track. It's produced really well. Now, you could send that to a mixing engineer to do that. It's so close. For me, it could just do with a tiny bit more high end, perhaps a little bit of a boost on the master channel with an analog EQ. That's my feedback, but the actual composition is great.
Yeah, I'd completely second that. The percussion, the rhythm, the whole vibe switch up of this sample were absolutely spot on. Definitely a fun little flip of it. The biggest thing for me was the mix. And inside of that, there were a couple of moments where the vocal was coming in and creating just a moment of tonal conflict with some of the chords that were being played as well. And mixing is going to clean that right up, and it'll keep those, frequencies in the mid range from building up quite as much. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal track, and yeah, great effort here.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So the next track is from Nomad, number 3. Let's have a listen. Nice. Someone's just asking about, is the track in mono or stereo? They're all in stereo. In Zoom it's stereo, but it's not coming through able in stereo. I do not know why that is. If anyone can tell me, then we can look it up and try and switch it. Oh, I like the high up synths there. Very above and beyond. Let's get to the break. The vocals kind of half a beat before it gives it real groove. So in between every beat. Really nice production, really great chords. My feedback would be the riser, the white noise risers. Funnily enough, we were talking about this on the accelerator call last night. The risers are a little bit high in the mix, the white noise risers. You can really push that back and just make it a little more subtle. But the chords, the vibe of this track is really nice. Nothing was clashing as far as I could tell. I'd probably aim on trying to get that drop hitting a little harder, but yeah, another really solid entry.
Absolutely second all of that. The couple of things I'd add is that I think, to really take this track to the next level, we need more of a defined focal point in the drop, whether that's, having a little bit more of a presence in the percussion and a little bit more of an interesting pattern in that, or just the overall drums, or having a little bit more melodic development in the chord stabs that you've got. Whether it's just like a one note change every once in a while or something else to like really lock us in and focus on one particular element in those drops. But as a whole, really phenomenal work there. Great vibe. I completely agree with what folks are saying in the chat. Like, this would be a perfect like Sunset Festival style track.
Yeah, really great.
And then just one quick thing before we move too much forward, can you knock down your SoundCloud volume just a little bit? And then we'll be able to hear our voices a little bit more clearly over the louder tracks. And as folks, maybe you guys can just turn up the volume on your own systems if things become a little bit too quiet. I just want to make sure you guys are able to hear what we're saying.
Absolutely. So let's just load this up one. How's that? Okay, a bit more of a tech housey vibe now. This is from Dip Skinny. Oh, I remember listening to this one and thinking, that's a vibe. Like if I'm listening to something and it's just like, even if the mix isn't perfect, that's not the main thing. The main thing is, the mix can be fixed. If the elements are there and the vibes there, it's like, that's a good tune,
the energy in the drums on this one too.
Sorry, man, what was that?
I was gonna say, I just love the energy in the drums on this one too.
Yeah.
Nice and clean.
Yeah. I like all the all the whoops and whops. You know, it's a very current sound for tech house. And that's something worth noting as well. You know, if you are going for a style, you want to make sure it's up to date. It doesn't mean you have to copy current artists, but you want to have an ear on what's going on in the scene, and push things forwards, you know, rather than make something completely random. Okay, cool. And then we'll go for the build. Oh, 303. That's cheeky. Yeah, so that's a great track. For me, again, it's not a million miles away. It's the mix. It's having the fullness in the vocals, the depth and the roundedness in the bass, which is going to come from the processing more than anything else. I think the sounds that you've picked are really good, and the composition is great as well. So that was very strong.
Yeah, completely agreed. I think the greatest thing about this track for me is the use of space. Like, there's a lot of information happening, but you've kept your transients and your notes really short. So we still have a nice sense of depth and a really good sense of clarity among all of our elements. And like Will said earlier, like, the idea is there. I know I could drop this in a set and people would guaranteed be dancing on the dance floor.
Yeah, for sure. I just seen, I've just had a look at the chat as well, and a Leopard Step saying, dang, nice one. I would have thought that would be up his street.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Yeah, Roger. I spoke to Rog yesterday. Second drop with the 303. Yes, Rog, you love it. Cool. So the next one we've got from Antra Music, and let's have a listen. Neel, do you want to weigh in on this one first?
I will. Great mix and balance right from the start. We've got a nice extra interesting.
You can hear a good mix straight off the bat. It's a shame it's not streaming in stereo.
Yeah, we are listening in stereo though, confirmed. Every submission that we're doing did come through in proper 60%.
I don't know how to make it stereo.
Maybe during the next track I'll do some kind of background.
I'm having a look up now.
One thing that I absolutely love about this particular, entry is the amount of repetition we've got going on in this game. There's a fine line between you've got which is almost alluring. You've got enough evolution, enough other things going on in the mix. The same melody stays, you can really get lost. Great work.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's. Okay.
It's hard to hear me, so I'll bring my mic a little closer if I can't get that to work.
Sorry, I lost you there for a sec.
I was just I saw in the chat that it's a little bit hard to hear me, so I'm going to try to speak up a little bit and bring that mic a little closer.
Yeah, that sounds a bit better. Oh, okay. So here we go with the drop. Yeah. So do you want to give a bit of feedback on there, or have you done that?
Yeah, no, I've added a couple comments, but I think it was kind of hard to hear me, so I'll kind of review them really quickly. So some of the biggest, wins of this track, I think, are the mix is really, really clean, and the core idea is very strong. You've got a great groove and a great sense of repetition in your melody. The one thing that I think I would have liked to see throughout the length of the overall track is a little bit more sonic evolution in that melody, like a little bit of sound design change up every once in a while, whether it's, opening our cutoff, extending our envelope, adding a little reverb or delay throw, stuff to just really keep us interested in what that core melodic pattern is, especially because you are playing it during some of the break sections as well. Now, I think if you were to remove it during those sections, then it stays fresh and interesting throughout the entire track that way as well.
Yeah, let's have a little listen a bit further on. Let's see. Yeah, it's that kind of almost marimba synth.
Yeah, that one.
That's cool though. Yeah, so the things that stand out for me in this track is the quality of the mix. And, it does matter. You can have a good idea, but if it's way off, if it's a good idea and the mix is kind of 85% of the way there, someone might hear it and they go, okay, yeah, this is still a tune. We need to get, and the label might say, you need to go and get that mixed properly or mastered properly. But if it's way off, then there's no chance. But this is a really good mix. There's relatively few elements. There's relatively few ideas put into the track, but each one is done very carefully and very well. And through use of reverb and delay, that adds the interest. But because it's reverb and delay on relatively few sounds, the timbre and the vibe it is still there, even though you've got the delays going on. You don't have like 100 different instruments, is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, that's a real goodie. So let's go to Katana Beat, which is a cool name. And I have to give John an honorable mention for this because it's just amazing.
And hey, Will, one quick thing before you play this one, getting a suggestion in the chat to try the original sound to see if that gives stereo audio on the stream. Obviously, it'll put your voice off to the left side with the microphone, but might be worth it for the proper stereo audio on the tracks.
Okay, let's give this a go. So I should now be coming out of the left.
Yeah, indeed you are.
Okay, so let's see if is this now in stereo on the live stream? If people can let us know, because we're both hearing it in stereo at the moment. So it should be coming out LA303. Is this coming through in stereo now? If you can let me know in the chat.
Cool. And one other just quick request, if you could turn down the volume of the tracks on SoundCloud a little bit further, because I think that did make your voice a little bit quieter.
Yeah, let's have a listen.
All right, looks like the chat is saying yes, we are now in stereo. So
sweet. Joseph Scioli said, pretty sure I sent the link correctly. If the link was correct, then we would have listened to it. So just email it through to Will at EDM Tips, and yeah, and we'll have a listen to it, basically. Okay, so I'm going to turn my mic up a bit and get it a bit closer, and hopefully this will be gravy.
Oh yeah, that is gravy right there.
Okay, cool. So now we've got stereo sound. I'm going to say we have to listen to John's track. We have to see John's track as much as anything because I loved it. Have you seen this, Neel?
You guys know how it is when you buy a new Mac. It's super
more
fast
ads. No one wants to see you. This is Darkest Gerbils by John.
Yes. I have heard this one.
I mean, the video alone. Incredible.
I will find
Yeah, 10 out of 10 for effort there, John.
Absolutely.
Absolutely love this. This one, don't ever delete this video, please.
Oh yeah, this is fantastic.
Cool. Yeah, I did enjoy that very much. Cool. So we've got Sasha Katana now. So I'm going to just listen to that one. Oh, actually, no, for feedback, again, you know, creative. But again, the mix is going to be where that could really shine. Even if you were doing it for fun, you know, the fact that the voice sounds like gerbils is because well, I would think that the warp algorithm was kind of set to beats or something instead of complex pro. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Or maybe she was in fact singing about gerbils all this time.
And the rest of us just got it wrong. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, John, I'd say mix wise, the big thing to focus on for you is just really focus on getting those basses nice and huge for this style track. And you'll be golden.
Yeah. So that kick and bass relationship, that's the absolute fundament of that track, and then everything else just kind of have to work around when you've got that sounding really good with lots of sidechain bounce. And yeah, even just choosing a different kick might have popped her a little bit more as well. But yeah, no, excellent. I loved it. So now let's go over to Sasha Katana, and hopefully the levels are okay for people here.
I will find you in the darkest places, oh my love. I'll protect you from the darkest troubles in your life. I will find you in the darkest places, oh my love. I'll protect you from the darkest troubles in your life.
I like that bass line. That's cool. Quite different.
I'm a big fan of that pitch bending going on in there.
Yeah, yeah. Really adds movement, having some pitch bend in the bass line. And again, several elements just following the simple core idea, so it's not becoming over complex.
I will find you in the darkest places, oh my love. I'll protect you from the
Okay, I'm going to weigh in with some feedback straight away here, because this is such a good track, and it could be better, and this is how I think you could improve it. So it gets really cool and interesting here. Now the thing with Spotify, the Spotify world in which we live, radio edits and whatnot, you need to grab attention straight away. And if you're starting a track with just
I will find you
yeah,
in the
I guess I just feel like perhaps there's more layer or more interest that could come in straight away. And again, when you get to this break, if there were some maybe gentle keys layered under the chords, something really pushed back, you know, just to augment the simple idea that you have. And that's the way to add ear candy, basically, to keep people's interest. So you're not trying to add in a loads of stuff that's doing its own thing. It's just what simple layers can I push back that are just going to really add to the atmosphere and keep people's interest, because there's always something happening. It's not just a simple one layer fading in. So that's my feedback for that. But I love the drop. I think it's really original sounding, but also current as well,
yeah.
which is the balance that you want. pushing things forwards a bit.
Yeah, I would completely echo everything that Will said. I think just a little bit more interest here and there, whether it's, through an additional Foley or atmosphere layer, or just through some extra sound design, some like creative distortion that's very subtle, helps add that little bit of edge and texture to really hook us in is going to be absolutely key.
Cool. So the next track is by Alonso Martinez. Man, we've heard this vocal so many times now. And everyone else has as well. Okay, so Places in the Dark by Late is the Hour. Bit of a Tin Liquor vibe. I like those like little triplet.
Right.
Nice ear candy there. Yeah, so I think this is it's a really classily done idea. There's not an overuse of elements. The mix isn't the best. If this was mixed to the level of a Tin Liquor track, it would absolutely bang. It's not a million miles away. But the actual composition, the sounds chosen, and the way it's put together, I think is just really class.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. The composition is exactly where it needs to be for this one. You've got a good groove, a great vibe, and your sound selection spot on. The mix isn't quite hitting as hard enough as it could be, with enough evolution throughout it to really be that classic, progressive house Tin Liquor, lane 8 sort of sound.
Yeah, but yeah, great effort there, absolutely. So we are hearing some really good tracks.
Yeah, so you guys can understand how difficult this is for us to kind of announce the winner at the end, because there are so many phenomenal submissions.
There are indeed. Okay, so the next one is from Mr. Knob, apparently. I'm pretty sure that's not his real name, but who knows. All right, so this is from Mr. Knob. Okay, yeah, different vibe here. Bit of a slap house vibe. Like good use of formant layering there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why this track works, again, the mix isn't where it needs to be, but there's a theme here, and the theme is a simple rhythm that interplays with the rhythm of the vocals. It doesn't matter which genre that you're doing it in, just rather than having too many things. So in this, you've got the bass line, the slap house bass line, then you've got the layers that come over the top of it, playing exactly the same rhythm, exactly the same notes. And so you've basically got two interplaying elements. You've got the vocal and you've got the melody, which is also the bass. And then everything else just augments that and bolsters it. So that's why I think this is a really strong effort. What I would say is that quite often, and I've heard this a lot as well, is people will try and get it sounding banging by mastering it. But if you spend the time to try and get it sounding banging before you've done any mastering by really, really careful sound selection, like I'd probably choose a different kick that perhaps works a bit more strongly with the bass line, spending that time at the beginning so it sounds like, as we were talking on the call last night, again, Neel and I on the accelerator call was, just getting your master to a point where it's just basically raising the volume. That's a good mix when you can listen to it and it sounds like it's mastered just because you've selected the right sounds and you've processed them together. So this one's not a million miles away. The sounds selection is good, but I feel that you've probably tried to get it sounding as banging as you want from the mastering stage, which is why it won't sound quite up to the scratch of perhaps any prominent slap house artists, and the names are escaping me at the moment. That's my take. Anyway, sorry, Neel, anything that you wanted to?
No, totally. That's all spot on. The biggest thing for me was indeed the mix. There wasn't quite enough thickness and mid-range body. The track sounded just a little bit hollow as a result. But compositionally, groove-wise, and it was all there. And I do want to just kind of highlight that big win is that the simplicity of this track is what makes it work really well. And that was a consistent theme among a lot of the tracks that we found to be the best. There was some degree of simplicity layered in there. Now there's always some sort of extra ear candy, some extra evolution, and all of that sort of stuff that keeps a track interesting start to finish. But the core of the idea needs to be simple enough for loads of people to be able to listen and follow for the first time.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. And we probably got about, I would say we selected about 15 more to go through, and then we'll kind of announce the winners. We'd love to play them all, but I don't know how many we've gone through so far, but 10. So it would literally take days to go through them all.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's go to the next one, which is by Owain. It's a Welsh name. Owain Rhys Evans. So let's have a listen to this, and let me pop that. My wife Mila was listening to these a lot the last few weeks as well. She's chosen her favourite ones. Cool. So this is Alzo. Hopefully that's loud enough.
That's nasty.
That's okay, isn't it? Nice call and response. Oh,
I love that little break there.
Yeah. Bit of EDX vibe there. And Shingo Nakamura as well, Japanese producer. Bit of a vibe in that.
Yeah.
you've got the big room feel coming.
Fantastic melody in this drop.
Yeah. Cool. Swedish House Mafia double clap there. Nice.
That's a beautiful composition.
Sorry, what was that?
I was just gonna say beautiful composition and vibe there.
Yeah, this is a great effort again. What can I say? It's all about the melody. You've really got the vibe here. Again, my only criticism would be a little bit on the mix, and we weren't judging things predominantly on the mix. The criteria was just the quality of the execution. You know, is it a good idea? Is the mix kind of there? You know, is it like 80% of the way there? And for me, this is one of those. But I think it's a little bit bright here. So again, it's probably something in the mastering stage where you've done a little bit too much of a boost on the high end to try and get that big sound that you're going for. Just on the drop here with the ride cymbal, it's just a little bit bright. You know, I'm really nitpicking, but I'm nitpicking because you're at the level where you need it to be perfect. You know, this is really, really good. So, you know, we're just trying to help basically. But the melody and the sounds that you've selected are spot on. That's a really, really good track.
Yeah, I completely second that. I think, you know, with the right mix down, a little bit more mid-range power, a little bit less harshness in that high end. This is a proper, you know, main stage festival style track for sure.
Yeah, this is a Swedish House Mafia.
Yeah,
like quality composition. And you know, when we're giving these critiques, we do it to our own music as well. I'll listen to a track I did 2, 3, 4 months ago, and I'll pick stuff up because I've got fresh ears. So sometimes just having a fresh set of ears will help you, you know, or rather hear these things. It's not like we never make these exact same mistakes. Cool. So that was where were we? I don't want to miss. That was Owain, wasn't it?
Yeah. Up next via the list, I think I'm seeing Cozies.
Okay. Let me see where that is. Okay, let's go Cozy. Thank you so much for joining us, by the way, everyone. And yeah, so much good music. We will be announcing the winners, of course. It's just nice to try and give some feedback and show you guys the kind of difficulty we've had voting. So this is Cozy. Which is a cool name. I like that. Another slap house. Nice. I could totally hear this in the club on a Friday. nice. I like the way you've taken the. I think you've taken some of the bass out of the kick there and allow it to come in harder next time.
I will find you in the darkest places of my love. I'll protect you from the darkest troubles in your life. I will find you in the darkest.
I think one thing that I would love to hear in like this kind of like breakdown build up section is like a little bit more movement and interest in the drums. Like currently like that top hi-hat pattern has just been kind of playing on loop for this section. So a little bit more evolution on it, whether it be like a tiny subtle filter sweep or a bandpass sweep, or a little bit of like a crunch or distortion added to it at times, something to just make it a little bit different. Alternatively, you could also just add a couple more fills here and there. That'll really help, you know, keep that interest and keep the dance floor really, really moving through that moment.
Yeah.
From the darkest.
Yeah. Again, you know, simple idea, just a pretty standard chord progression, just 4 chords, but that's fine. You don't. It's about executing what you have really well by using the right sounds together, and Coase has done it. You know, this is a great track. I could really imagine this being played on a Friday night somewhere. Totally. So yeah, fantastic effort there as well. Okay, let's go on to Jean-Baptiste. So I'm just gonna. I think this one was a bit of a kind of deep vibe, if I recall. So I'm just going to stop there and point out, this is how, you know, this is interest straight off the bat. You know, yes, it's just the bass notes and the chords, but there's actually 4 or 5 layers going on here at once.
I will find you in the darkest places of my love. I'll protect you from the darkest troubles in your life. I will find you in the darkest places of my love.
I like the bass line being introduced with the high pass filter with the low cut out. Again, a good vibe on this track. Sounds nice and organic.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
So I'm going to say the thing that struck me when I listened to it, on the drop, you want that kick and the bass being a bit beefier.
Yeah.
You know, you've built such lovely tension here. You want it to be like boom. So what I would do, again, I think your kick and bass are correct, the sounds that you've selected. So a kick and the bass bus is where that magic's going to be, because if you compress that kick and the bass together, add a little bit of saturation, maybe some sub-harmonics with the bark of dog, you know, and basically make that into a proper beefy bass line, I think that would just really elevate that track. What is already an excellent track, I think it would elevate it.
Yeah, I completely agree. That was the biggest thing that stood out to me, was just a little bit more beef from the kick and bass, and this track would have been like borderline perfect there. So yeah, fantastic work.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So we have got Jean-Baptiste, then we have got Rajesh Deshpande. Apologies if I'm butchering anyone's names. So, okay, let's get this into Safari and have a listen. Nice, dubby. Again, you know, instantly grabbing the attention.
The fantastic groove in this one right off the start. Like, it's got my head bobbing as soon as we start having like the vocal and the hi-hat come in.
Yeah, lots of filtering. Such a nice deep vibe to this. I'd have held that one bass note though. I'd just be playing the root, for this part at least. Yeah, nice. So this is the, you know, and you can see just by looking at the waveform as well, you've almost got this false calibration that you're calibrating the listener to think, okay, that's the kick and this is the bass. But actually, and I could see and I could hear from the quality of the production what was going to happen, which is that the ears are now calibrated to think that's the level of the kick and the bass, and then on the actual drop it's like, oof, that really kicks. So, you know, it's all about contrast. But with this style of music, and this again would be my feedback, because it's a really well produced track, would be with this style of music, it's all about teasing people. You've got all these filter sweeps and stuff that take a long time to kind of develop, and you know, don't kind of play your hand too early. So that's why my suggestion would have been just hit that root note on the bass here. You don't need to change the chord progression yet. You know, that's something that could be a payoff later on. Like that. I love the way the bass line funks up there. Yeah. So that's my feedback, but again, another really nicely produced track. Top work there, Rajesh.
Yeah. Completely second that. I think that kick is sitting really, really nice. I think given that I think like rather the one thing that I would probably look to improve with this one is getting a little bit more saturation and fullness out of your bass line, because that is going to be the focal point, or like the main element that's driving this track forward in the drop. So just a little bit more weight down there, a little bit more saturation to thicken it up, and I think you'll be in a fantastic spot.
Yeah, and again, we are nitpicking, but
Yes.
when you're at this level, it's important. You know, these little details are really what are going to elevate you that last 5-10%.
Exactly that.
Yeah. So this is I guess Riff. This is Find You. So let's have a listen to this bad boy. Nice, clean. I'm glad we can hear this in stereo now, actually. This has a lot of nice big handy up there. double speed there, so it's kind of dubstep. We've also got the drum and bass kind of tempo coming in. Okay, let's see what this drop's got for us. Hopefully the level's good, just checking the old chat. Oh my gosh.
Fantastic future bass dub crossover drop here.
That's bad, man. And the ear candy as well, just keeping the interest going. And then the contrast between the aggression back to the beautiful chimes. Yeah, I don't know what I can say. That is a superbly produced track.
It really is. Like the one thing, and I would say this, I'll start by saying I would play this as is in a set of my own right now. Like this is right up the style of music that I quite often play in a lot of sets. So that's a huge win in and of itself, that I would happily just drop this track in there. From a easy listening perspective, though, I think it takes just a little bit too long to get to that first drop, given how important this drop is for making this track work. So I think if you could, like, tease some of it earlier, start the track with like a nice energetic section, or just, kind of shorten that intro verse build section a little bit so that we do get to the main point a little bit more quickly. I think that's the biggest win for you on this one.
That's great feedback, actually. Yeah. This track could probably be a minute shorter, a minute, and this could be a 3.5 minute track if you edited it carefully, and it would still have the impact, but it would get people to the chorus faster, or the drop. That's a great point there, Neil. Thanks for pointing that out. I would agree with that.
Yeah, cheers.
But fantastic production, really amazing. And yeah, we've got people in the chat saying awesome stuff. Yeah, the vocals just work really well with it as well. Someone's asking how many we've listened to so far. I don't know, like 15, 20. We've probably got another few to listen to. We have listened to them all apart from the broken links, and if you are one of those people, do send us the links. We will be listening to them all, and we'll reach out to you with our feedback. But yeah, let's continue anyway. So now we are on to, okay, all right, here we go. This is by Omed Saeed. So let's pop over that and load it into Safari. Okay, let's do it. Have I picked the wrong one?
I do think that's a different one.
Okay, let's listen to this one. Another nice breakbeat entry. Yep, this has got a good vibe. Again, kind of bicep. Like modern breakbeat. I like what you've done with the vocal, just kind of hinting it. You've really warped it and hinted it before we actually get to the vocal, which is a really nice way to introduce things. Yeah, I could imagine this on Anjuna Deep, actually.
Yeah, very chill, good vibe.
Yeah.
I think the drums are fantastic. I love the texture and the presence on them. The biggest thing for me is wanting a little bit more evolution in the composition and the arrangement. You know, whether it be through, you know, the mix, like in filtering, sound design, or just through the way you've actually composed the core idea. So bringing certain elements in and out a little bit more, you know, from section to section. I think that'll help out a lot of people.
Again, also, I would be wanting to kind of push the bass a bit more. Again, with bus processing, so maybe you're bussing the kick and the bass line together. Maybe you're bussing all the drums together and just compressing them a little bit harder to really just get a bit more beef and body to those drums. But it's a tough balance because you don't want to crush the dynamics out of it. It's a really nice. Yeah, this is probably something that could be just polished and have the maximum brought out from it from the master, probably with some multi-band compression. That's my feeling. You know, when your mix is at this level, then okay, you can get the absolute final 5% from the master. But I always try, and we always recommend to our students as well, the earlier in the chain you can get it sounding amazing, the better the end result is going to be. You know, it's like having good ingredients when you're cooking. If you start with great ingredients and every step along the way is done well, you barely have to do anything at the end. It's like it kind of masters itself. But yeah, another great track there. So now let's get on to Omed's track. So let's load that in. So that's Luca Penza, by the way, that track.
I will find you in the darkest places of my life.
Nice processing on the vocals.
Yeah.
Doubled up width, depth.
I love the energy in this one.
Yeah. I'm just trying to put my finger on the genre. It's kind of a mix between slap house and hard house.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like the breakbeat. That's a nice little switch up there.
Yeah, right. Brings that energy right down in a great way.
That's the Amen loop. By the sound of it. Classic jungle loop. Yeah, a bit of a tech house vibe as well. Yeah, another great effort there. My feedback would be, well, firstly, to note when the breakbeat came in, that's from the Amen break, which was like what started jungle music back in the 90s. If you want to impart some of that old school breakbeat ravey type vibe, you don't need to go and find loads of random breakbeats that are original and stuff. If you want to impart the vibe of a 90s rave track, you know, to give it that character, go for the breakbeats that are common in lots of those tracks that everyone used, because people will instantly pick up on it and go, oh, it's got that kind of 90s vibe, if that's what you want for that part of the track. I used to think you have to try and reinvent everything, but actually sometimes that can detract. Like if you think of the Stranger Things soundtrack, they use lots of classic sounds from that era that it's set in, and that's deliberate. It's not because they're lazy or they can't produce properly. It's because they know that those sounds are going to invoke certain emotions in their listeners. And you did a great job here, Omed, of doing that with the breakbeats, in my opinion. The only feedback I would give over and above that is you've got lots of sounds on the go here, and you need to make sure every single one sits perfectly in the mix. Spend that time just crafting the sound. Start from the ground up, so your kick, your bass, your main clap and or snare, and then just make sure those sound absolutely banging together, and make sure everything else can just fit around those. But yeah, great effort there. I've been yabbering on. Sorry. What's your take on that, Neel?
I would completely agree. I think the big thing is, you've done a good job of introducing a lot of cool new textures with all these different vocal chops, all these different, throws and stuff that you have. Because you have so many of them, they do need to be mixed absolutely perfectly to really maintain a consistent thread throughout the entire song. And then the other thing is that it might be a little bit of a risk to have as many as you have. Like there isn't quite as much empty space as I would have necessarily liked at certain times. And it takes away from the effectiveness and that like feeling of being special from any one of those given chop moments, because you consistently follow it up with a different chop. So just taking a couple of them out of the mix altogether will help the others blend in a little bit better and stand out more from an interest perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bold, it's not bold, but it's a complex undertaking, a genre like this.
Yeah.
So there is more work to it than a standard tech house track. But yeah, another great effort. Cool. Okay, so now we have got a track by Blake. Darius Blake. Okay, so let's pop that in. Have a listen. Got a few more, guys, just a few more, then we're going to announce the winners. Oh, nice.
I like
Sixth
this
progression.
Yeah, that piano progression is awesome.
That last chord though. I'd probably bring in a little bit of groove here, like with the hi-hats, but just kind of filtered in.
Yeah, agreed.
Just to give a little bit of that energy. And probably a bigger riser. Okay, yeah, that's a nice track. I really like the piano. I think the mix needs some work, and I get what you're doing with the full strop there. You like bring in the bass before the. What I would recommend, and I've written a lot of music like this, is save that little treat for a bit later on, because you haven't yet cemented the main idea in. So I would suggest that for the first drop, you you kind of slam it as a normal first drop, and then that will give something to people will expect that later on, and then you can throw in that little false drop, which will, you know, add a little bit of interest. But yeah, I would that bringing in the groove a little bit early. This is one of those tracks where it's simple in terms of what's going on, which means you have to be so clever with just filtering in little bits where they need to add the groove, and not adding loads of extra instruments, just taking what you've got and adding a small transition here and there, perhaps hinting at what's to come. Yeah, but again, I think those piano chords are really good.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think compositionally, this one's working really well. A little bit more interest in that build and a little bit more movement. But the biggest thing for me is the mix of this one just needs that extra bit of polishing, extra bit of separation and thickness.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So now we have got a track by Max Spencer. Nice housey groove. Yeah, again, that's a vibe, you know. The mix isn't perfect, but it's a vibe.
Groove between that kick and that sub bass too is really, really working. You know, you could get a dance floor moving with that.
I like the expanse of the reverb. Just opens up. Yeah, so that's a really nice track, a really good vibe. For me, the contrast between this, where it just opens up and it's just like God is smiling at my soul, that's lush. And then you go back into that really kind of warehousey groove. I think that contrast is really lovely. But I do think that this needs to kind of drop a bit harder when the kick comes in. Just trying to think how I would do that. Probably have some kind of width in the bass above the sub frequencies if you can add some stereo width with a widener over about 100 to 120 hertz. It might just add a little bit more body and width to that drop and just increase that contrast.
I completely agree, and just a little bit more thickness and saturation across the board will also help, you know, really bring this one up to a club standard too.
Yeah, but really great idea. Okay, so we got two more to listen to. We got one from Sujog, so that's the next one. So let's have a listen there. Nice melodic house vibes. Again, you've got like an atmosphere drone in the background. You've got some panning percussion and the main arpeggio, which is just 2 notes actually. But all of that just adds into some nice subtle ear candy lushness. Chord change. Nice. Ooh. Hello, Kick. Good choice, sir.
Yeah, right.
Okay. I was expecting more of a short, sharp clap, but it works. I like the creative use of the vocals as well, just the vocal shot. Nice synths. Sujog, if you're on the chat, did you use Diva out of chance? Fantastic synth work there.
Yeah, the synth. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd have chosen someone at Bapti Red. I would have chosen a deeper clap for the vibe. I would too, to be honest. That would be my feedback. Short, sharp, and June a deep style clap rather than the snare. That kick is on point. Okay, great track, really great work, Sujog, fantastic. Again, my only criticism would be I probably would have chosen a different clap, but having said that, it still works. You know, it's a matter of, it's not objective, it is subjective. It's subjective to a degree, but I think it still works. That's my feedback anyway.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. I think my favorite thing about this one was the chord progression and the synth work that you've done. It is truly phenomenal. There were a couple of moments where I thought we could get a little bit more body, a little bit more warmth in the mix, but otherwise, you know, fantastic work there. Cool.
So we are on to our penultimate track now. We've got so many more, guys, but we've had to be, we've had to be quite brutal in which ones we're going to review because it would literally take forever to review them all to this degree. Okay, so this is by Lorenz Bowling. Bowling. Bit of a tech house vibe. Nice. That's like a 303. That's funky as hell, boy.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, that's a really nice vibe.
Great energy in the drums too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. For me, the kind of squelchy brass sound didn't really work so well there. But again, it's personal taste. I mean, it is a really nicely produced track. It's got some real groove to it. But yeah, I really like the 303 without it sounding like a very obvious 303 use, you know, with loads of distortion and stuff. It's just using it for what it was designed for, which is bass lines. Yeah, that kind of squelchy synth I'm not so fond of, but it kind of messes things up a little bit. Maybe it just needs a little bit of low ends taken out of it. Maybe that's all. Vocals sound great. Yeah. Yeah, a cheeky little false drop there. Yeah, really nice track again. Only the kind of feedback I gave about the squelchy sound, but Neel, anything in particular you wanted to add to that?
You know, I would second that. I think almost everything was spot on. And I think with just a little bit of massaging to that particular sound, you could get it to work. The reason that it's not quite fitting in with everything else is it's got a little bit more of like that nasally, bodily tone, which is competing a little bit with the top end of our bass and the low end of the vocal.
Yes.
So it doesn't have its like clearly defined own space. Otherwise, I think, yeah, the groove, the core idea was absolutely phenomenal. There were definitely like sections of this track, like without that little squelchy sound that I could play on a dance floor and guaranteed the people would be moving to it. So yeah, fantastic work there.
Cool. And we've got the last track that we're going to be listening to before we announce the winners. But we're all winners here, really, aren't we? After having listened to this cool music. So the last track is by Graham Hill, aka G Star. So let's have a listen. Dark Love. Nice feel to work on the clap. Open hats are a bit loud. Great drop, lots of power there. Don Diablo vibes. chords. Okay, cool. So that is a really well produced future house track. Couple of things I would suggest, especially because you are at that level where, you know, this is really high quality music. This could compete. So the feedback I'm going to give is these hi-hats here are really intense, right? They're as intense as in the drop section. So what you can do, well, for one, you can just turn them down a little bit, but you can also compress these areas slightly less intensely than you do on the drop. So you can actually have parallel processing come in just for the drop section, and that's just going to give you that extra freaking, you know, heaviness. But you kind of need a little bit more contrast between the verse section and the drop section, but I love it. You've done a fantastic job here. The way you move from the chord progression to the riff on the drop, I mean, it's very well produced future house. So yeah, excellent work. Well done there, Graham. Cool. So yeah, now the time has come to announce the winners, and it has been so difficult. And I'm not going to abdicate responsibility. We're not going to put it to a vote. We said that we will decide, and we have decided. But just because you haven't won, it doesn't mean that your track wasn't up there. It doesn't mean it wasn't good enough. Yeah, it was just a very hard job for us. And we absolutely salute everyone who entered. Really, the work has been phenomenal.
Yeah, completely second that. Yeah, phenomenal tracks. And just again, I want to shout out everyone that submitted. You know, just because we didn't play yours in, you know, any of these 20 doesn't mean that you weren't necessarily like in the top 20 or even in the running or anything else of the sorts. We just have the frank limitation of time. So we wanted to, you know, highlight a nice little variety of different styles, different levels and everything else of the sorts. But everyone, you know, really fantastic work across the board. So yeah, just want to give a shout out to just each and every one of you that took the time to create a remix for this competition, and thank you for doing so.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's the first one we've ever run. If you enjoyed it, do let us know, and you know, we'll do something else in the future as well. It's been a good experience. It's been a learning experience for us as well, you know, to have the first one that we've done. So yeah, without further ado, let's get to it. I'm going to play all of them as well, not all of the tracks, but you know, we're going to play the 3, and we'll do it in reverse order. So here we go. Man, now I feel bad. This is all right. Man up, Will. Okay, here we go. Right. So the first, in third place, we're doing this in reverse order, and even choosing between these 3 was hard AF. So in third place, I would like to congratulate Antra for his superb production. Really phenomenal. I'm going to reach out to you guys as well separately from the announcement. Yeah, we are blown away by the quality of these tracks. So we played this one earlier. Let's just get to the... Should we play the whole track, do you think, Neil? Just skip through.
Maybe not the full one, because we're at 7 minutes on this track, and there's some pretty long ones.
Yeah, we'll post all the winners and honourable mentions. I'll think of a way to collate them, and everyone can have a listen in fullness. But yeah, beautiful deep work, and just subtle use of the vocal. just to set the tone, set the key of the track, and then we open up to the full vocal there. Yeah. So again, stuff to remember is that these winners generally have a simple idea that's executed very, very well. And yeah, okay, so that's third place. And second place we have, let me just cue it up. Brrr, that's my drum roll. Singing drums is hard. Okay, so in second place we have Sujog. So congratulations, Sujog. Really, really great work. And this was a real hard one, guys, honestly. Damn you. You make it so hard. But also bless you for being awesome and making great music. Yeah. So this, it's almost like gentle rain in the background. For me, the kick working, this is like lane 8 quality. Again, the clap, personal preference. Yeah, sorry, Neil. What were you about to say then?
Oh, I was just gonna say for this one, like it was the synth work that did it for me. It was just phenomenal chord progression, great layering, great choices across the board.
Yeah. So the number one super duper winner of the day is, I think people probably know who it is anyway. It got a heck of a reaction.
Sure did.
So let's do it. It is Mr. Westerman, aka, and I want to pronounce this pseudonym correctly, Kirif.
Maybe Kyrif.
Or Kyrif. Yeah, Kyrif. So yeah, apart from perhaps getting to the chorus a little bit quicker, phenomenal production.
Yeah.
We're going to think of something to do with these tracks, like to get them out there into the world, because it's sick. I like the interplay of the double tone and the half tone. The bass is filtered out so that the contrast is greater on the drop. Mono.
Yep.
And that contrast there. In fact, we've got an accelerator graduate, Jesse, who makes this kind of style of music, and he's making waves at the moment. So maybe we can hook you guys up and introduce you, because there could be a good collaboration there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Jesse Carter, aka Nine Worlds. But this is great, because with this genre, because there's a lot of aggression, it can be easy to lose the melodic dynamics of the track, but you've done it. You've carried the chord progression in through the aggressive drop, and you've got that balance spot on. So congratulations, this is really great work.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic work here. Like I said earlier, like I would play that song in a set of my own.
Yeah, this is fresh. Yeah. So once again, thank you all so much for again for submitting your competition entries and for joining us on the live stream and kind of being part of this. I'm going to send out an email tomorrow because it's like almost 7 o'clock in the evening here, and I'm tired of talking. So I'm going to have a nice cold refreshing pint, I think, and then send out an email tomorrow to the winners, to the honorable mentions, and just all of you guys and girls. You're fantastic. Yeah, we love you.
Yeah, fantastic work, everyone.
Cool. All right, shall we wrap it up then?
I think that takes care of it. Yeah, as Will said, cheers and thanks for tuning in. Stoked to have all the participation in the chat. And once again, guys, thank you so much for everyone who submitted and took the time. You know, we know that it's not any quick, like, 20-minute exercise to put together a full remix and track submission. So we're super grateful for all the effort and time you guys put in. Hope you guys learned something doing the submissions and then also on the stream, getting some of this feedback here. So cheers to everyone who participated, whatever way you might have participated.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't give up, guys. Don't give up. Take the feedback. We've all been in this. We've all been on the receiving end of this. But this is the opportunity. You take that feedback, put it to work, and there's no stopping you. So awesome respect, and catch you soon.
Absolutely that. Cheers, everyone.
See you guys. Bye. Oof.